This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, friends. Today our topic is tuple and set in Python. Actually, we are learning about different data types available in Python, which are supported by Python. As a part, we learned about different data types like list, dictionary. Now the tuple and set. About the set, I think you have studied regarding the set in your school level maths. Set is a collection of data. Here you see a set we will represent with curly brackets. These are the curly brackets. We place the data inside of the curly brackets. I have considered here 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That is yes. And I try to print as 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I try to print s. Then what is happened? They are in different order. That is, order is not important here. So a particular element, if you consider uh, in which location it will be, we don't know. So that's why set is an ordered collection, not an ordered collection. And it supports the heterogeneous data types. That means you can have a different types of data types like integer, character, float, like that. You can have a mixture of data types into a single set. And set does not support the duplicate elements. That means if you want to provide duplicate elements, it will show only one time. As the indexing is not important, it does not suppose the indexing and slicing, which is order is not important here. But list supports indexing and slicing. We have seen different examples on list, how to do the indexing and slicing, etc., etc. And set is a mutable. Set is a mutable kind of thing. If it is mutable, then there exists definitely a functions into it, so that people can make some modifications onto a set elements. For example, if you consider a set S with two elements 10 and 20, we can do the modification of add of 30. That means S dot add of 30. If S dot add of 30 means the element 30 will be added to the existing list. So the result is 10, 20, and 30. We can delete an element from a set using a function called discard. So s dot discard of 20. That means I want to discard a particular element 20. Why I have to give a particular element rather than a position? Any guess? Why I have to give a particular element only to discard rather than a position? Because here position is not important. Position is not important only. There exists no position, because which element will be existed in which position, that type of scenario is not existing. So that's why we cannot do that. So how to do that? Directly delete an element from a set. That means I want to delete an element directly 20. So 10 among 10, 20, and 30, 20 is deleted. What we are left with is 10 and 30. we can do that type of scenario because it is a mutable kind of data type. Set is a mutable kind of data type. There exists some sort of functions to manipulate the data into it. So likewise, add and discard, there are some more functions exist like union, intersection, difference, and symmetric difference. These are quite simple and very equivalent to the what we learn in your school maths set theory. The same the set here also applicable, but instead of the heterogeneous homogeneous kind of things we have learned, but here set will support the heterogeneous things. So come to union, s1 dot union of s2, that means we want to combine s1 and s2. So without repetition we can get 1 2 3 4 5 6. The same union operation can be possible by using an operator. This is an operator, so we can do using operator also. Come to intersection, we can have a common elements from both the sets 3 and 4. The symbol is and here. That means we can do the things using functions and operators. Suppose if you consider a difference, s1 dot difference of s2. Suppose this is 1 2 3 4, this is 3 4 5 6. If you do the difference, you can get 1 2. The same can be applicable based on minus operation. We can do that. But s1 dot symmetric underscore difference of s2. That means a minus b union b minus a. 1 2 5 6. We can visualize here in the like Venn diagrams. You can visualize how to do the operations on sets. And the last data type is tuple. We can identify the tuple based on its type of the bracket we are using. Tuple is a unique type of brackets, 10 20 30 40. List is a square brackets. Tuple is open brackets. If you print t, what are the elements we have? 10 20 30 40. The same kind of things we can print it because it is an ordered collection, unlike what we learned previously. Set is not an ordered collection. That means position is not important. That's why we cannot do the indexing and slicing in set, but list we can do the indexing and slicing. Similarly, in tuple also we can do indexing and slicing. What we have learned already, what is indexing and slicing. So, and supports the heterogeneous data type here also, and supports the duplicates are allowed, but in set duplicates are not allowed. Likewise, every data type has its unique properties, right? List is mutable, tuple is immutable. What is immutable? Immutable means what? We cannot do any modifications onto the data. That means there exist no functions based on tuple. In list you can have more functions to perform modifications in list, but in tuple there does not supports any modifications. If you consider a data like this, t is equal to 10 20 10 30 10, you can have a count function. Sir, you said that there exist no functions in tuple, but here we are writing count. Yes, count is a function, but it does not manipulate the data. That means once data is ready, we cannot do the manipulation because it is immutable. Tuple is immutable. You cannot do the modification onto it. We can read the things. So that's why what is a count of data? That's why that is 3. That we can read up to that, but you cannot add, remove like that. We cannot do the things like modification kind of functions does not exist in tuple, whereas in list it exists because list is immutable, right? Consider a function called index. We can do the know the index of 10. 10 index of 10 is 0. That means which is exist in a 0th position. Some more examples. You can have a tuple of strings. That means, since I told you it supports that different types of data types, uh, we can have some data with the strings. We can call it as a tuple of strings, and we can display the elements print underscore my data. We can display all these things. We can access the elements based on indexing because it is supports the indexing. Whenever the order is there, the indexing will be there. Accessing the third element, how to access the third element, because it starts indexing from 2, print of my data of 2. That is the third element. We can have a for loop in tuple. There are different control structures we learned, which is supported by a Python. So here I am explaining you how we can apply the for loop in tuple. Consider a tuple like this. Just print the tuple elements and make a count as 0, and you increment the count whenever the element is added into the count. That means how many elements are there. This is quite very simple how we learn basic maths in school level. Like if you are doing calculation, we used to have with fingers. The one is there, two is there, like three is there, four, like that. How here also count basically 0. If first element is read, the count will become 1. If second element is read, count will become 2, like that. It's a simple for loop how we can apply with the tuple. What are the uses of tuple? Because tuple is immutable. What are the uses of tuple? And here I want to mention you, we learned about the functions. In the function, the programs like C, C++, Java, all these type of programs will support functions. Like Python also supports functions, but Python can supports a function with different features like returning a multiple values. You cannot see that type of returning a multiple values from a single function. Only a Python having that type of feature. If you consider a function here called f, which will take an input as r, that means radius of a circle, radius of a circle. You can calculate circumference and area. We can return c and a both at a time. This is a unique feature of Python. And in spite, the c and a will be returned as a tuple. That's why tuple got its importance. C and A, both circumference and area, we can return using a tuple kind of thing like this. That's why a tuple data structure is has a scope in Python. Fine. Yeah. Here, this is a different kind of thing. Uh, this actually a list. Tuple we have 10, 20. We have defined a tuple. We have defined a tuple. But inside of the tuple, we can have a list. Fine. See here, 10, 20 are the uh, tuple elements. 30 and 40 combinedly a list, which is also a tuple element, last tuple element, because it stores the only value of address, that is a 2046 for this example. So that 2046 is pointed to internally, it is will be a pointed to 30, 40. 30, 40 is a list. Fine. 30, 40 is a list. So that list is pointed to address called 2046. We can manipulate on the list because list is a mutable. So this is called hybrid data structure. Maybe we can have a list inside of a tuple. If you want to read the element called in a second position T of 2, we can get 30, 40. T of 2 dot append of 50, we can append the 50 to 30, 40 and 50, we can have 30, 40, 50. So we can remove 30, but you cannot remove 20 because 20 belongs to a tuple. 30 belongs to a list. Please try to understand, friends. We can place a list inside of a tuple. This can be done based on address values. So these are the several useful links. I am requesting all you people to list out all these data structures. Can anyone name all the data structures we learned till now? This may be end of the data structures. We can move to the class and object. That is the second phase of the unit 3. Can anybody name the list of all the data types?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
List, list,
List.
dictionary,
This. Yes.
set, tuple.
Yes. Only 4. So we can able to know the difference between all these things, which is mutable, which is immutable, which supports duplicates, which does not supports duplicates, uh, which is having the functions, existing functions to manipulate the data, which is not having the existing functions to manipulate the data, which is homogeneous, which is heterogeneous, which is a which type of brackets we use for which type of data structure. Likewise, I am asking you to, this may be a very important for us to know the difference between all these things. I'm asking you friends to take a list like this. First, take the thing list. What are the features of all those all the list data structure? I'll share you the presentation, yesterday presentation and today presentation. So now I am requesting you people to start a list. What are the all the features of list? Next is dictionary. What are the all the features of dictionary? Next is tuple. Next is set. Likewise, you please prepare that, right?